Yes, we're back. So we had a little technicality. I'm on two phones right now, so for whatever reason, the other phone went off. So, walk and talk, fasted cardio with your brother, Ben Willard. You guys have been chiming in. Some of you guys have been saying, hey, the talk is too long. It's not a talk. It's an exercise session that's for the members with Synergy Fitness 365. The Spirit has just been leading me to talk about things that's been on my mind and heart. It's not a talk. So this is what's been on my mind and heart. And this is just, you guys are familiar with the introduction. It's a testimony. Not pointing fingers at nobody, it's just a testimony. So it helps me to better my actions, ways, thoughts, in the way that I do stuff. Because I need to reiterate for most of you guys that call me, pose questions. Some of you guys don't watch the whole video. Maybe it's just not for you. This, like our broadcast is on the internet. It's worldwide. If you think that it's too long, you don't want to exercise, you don't want to lose weight but most of you guys haven't been really, I ain't gonna say most of you guys, but some of you guys haven't been really viewing, what we're doing anyway. And that's the subject that I'm going to talk about this morning. Some of you guys that call me or text or whatever. So when I send out a text, at a minimum, it's not a group text like I'm grouping, but it's individually sent at a minimum of 25 people. Minimum. Could be 30, 40, 50. And I've been doing that ever since I've learned how to research. I've learned how to, from a statistical standpoint, from a sales and marketing standpoint, ever since I've worked in different gyms and, my background is in psychology. And I'm always doing research. A lot of you guys don't really know me because for 49 years, I've been really, 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 really private. And that was the problem. That was one of the issues, that made certain life stressors would bring me to a really sad and depression. And because, never really trusted anybody, And if you guys has been following me, that's kind of how I grew up. So with that being said, those of you who call in or contact me and you make assumptions, number one, we know you don't watch the video. Number two, if you watch the video, you're not watching it in an open mind and an open heart. Man, I'm not, just like what I was talking with a sister the other night, and she called me very late. And, me and his sister has been friends for a very long time, off and on, off and on, off and on. But she never knew, that I was struggling with depression. But I consider her a good friend. I think, and she might go back, but I think to this day, me and her, like years ago, was talking about a business that she wanted to start, and then we was talking about different names that kind of really, but she would say today, no, that ain't how that. But I think that I had some influence on the name of her business, which is highly successful right now. Good sister. So I sent out a text the other day, and some of you guys took the text as if I was asking and pleading for a certain demographic to respond, like I was born yesterday. Man, this phase in my life is the Spirit drove me to send that text as a share, as something that's been on my mind and heart that I might tell somebody behind, you know what I mean? But no longer. I cannot hold this stuff back. So it is what it is. But it's never judgmental, because let me repeat myself. Whatever I see that concerns me outside of myself, 9 times out of 10, it's inside. So, in order for me to be successful as a salesperson, a personal trainer, a marketer, an entrepreneur, you have to understand fundamentals behind statistics. Like I stated in the previous broadcast, God is mathematics, mathematics is God. You can prove his word in no limit of time. Cause and effect. God is the master scientist, study nature. You'll see his hand in everything. Everything is based on mathematics. Successful businesses move on mathematics. My father was a master mathematician. And he was always stressing our family. He was like, man, if you're good at math, you could do anything. It took me 49 years to really understand that. So if my family's chiming in right now, you guys know that was it right there. You got to get your math. My dad used to call me short stuff. My mom used to be like, boy, your dad called you short stuff because when you were small, you were so observant. You would pick up things and ask questions. Never really left me. That's why my freshman year, I majored in psychology. I always had a knack for it. But when you're not connected with your family, there's no clarity on what you think you should be doing. Like, for instance, I talked to my brother. My brother said, man, that's a gift in our family. But when he said a gift, it took me back to memory lane and had me to remember that my dad was of high intellect. My dad used to do things back in them days with, people didn't really understand. In our neighborhood, my dad's tried to start organizations. He tried to help out the community. He was he was a leader in the family. He stressed academics. One of his sayings, that I remember was, man, they can take all of this other stuff away from you, but they can't take what's up top. Get your lesson, be excellent. And that's what he stressed. And for the most part, all my siblings was A and B students. But I didn't get all of that from my dad, right? Because my parents had me at a very late age. So I didn't get to experience that disciplinary part, that academic structure and, putting your report cards in, going over all of that. So most of that stuff I had to just move about my own way. But the subject of this walk and talk this morning is demographics. And we're going to talk because you guys, when we send the text, at a minimum, we're sending it to a minimum of 25 different people at a minimal. It could be 30, it could be 50. So it's nothing personal. It's a general text that's sent to a certain demographic and we're gauging the response. That's it. You know? Now, I mean, if you guys see this video and say, hey, man, it's not a group text. I mean, it's still an individual text. But it's something we use as Synergy Fitness 365, as the Mental Health Ministry podcast, to help us to gauge where we're at. And it goes out to different demographics, the same information. So, two demographics. We're going to say demographic A. We're going to say demographic B. With a total of 100 participants, we have 50 demographic A, 50 demographic B. Demographic A, we send out links to the things that we've been doing, whether it be Walk and Talk, whether it be the Mental Health Ministry podcast. We send out a link, 100 participants. We found that in demographic A, there was like maybe 0.5, engagement. Demographic A. Demographic B wasn't 100%, but it wasn't 1. So we have to look at that. Demographic A, 0.5, maybe 1% engagement. And the 1% could be somebody just was clicking to see what's going to happen, but never really watched it or never really listened to the podcast. I mean, we have the statistics. Demographic B, more engagement, and we know because after the engagement, then we would get some dialogue behind it. Demographic A, we had to resend to demographic A to ask. So the technology is such, you don't even have to get in your car and drive to show your support. You can be sitting in your sofa watching your favorite show on TV, and you can still support with a click of a finger. And most of you guys didn't even do that. But let me clear the airways. We did not expect demographic A to engage. Let's just keep it a buck. I'm not a young dude. I've been doing this for a long time. We didn't expect it. You know? And you guys and we guys, us that are in the health and wellness industry, we know who our target customer is in most cases. Client, demographic. So, some of you guys from demographic A, responded like, I'm gonna do a part 2 because this is a series based on the text that I sent out that the Spirit led me to send to question why certain communities lack the power to improve their condition. I'm not talking about a couple of people that, I'm talking about the masses the majority of that segment. Why? They lack the power to make progress. And this is part one. This is the intro. Letting you guys know it's not personal. It's just something that we have to look at, put it on the table in order to self-correct. Like I said before, whatever I see that concerns me that's on outside of me, 9 times out of 10, it's inside. So I take all of this data and I ask myself, Ben, are you like that? Have you ever been non-supportive to somebody you see every day, claim to be friends, we went to college together, but for some reason, you can't even click a share when they post their business on Facebook? You can't even click a share. Think about that. It don't cost you nothing to take your finger, like, and share somebody's business that you know. I don't even see it on Facebook. You know what I get shares? I get shares of gossip. I get shares of the BS. But I wasn't really going to bring, but let me bring it. I'm going to touch on it, not going to go into depth. There was a researcher that studied oppressed populations all over the planet Earth. The researcher developed a body of knowledge from a statistical standpoint. The researcher categorized a specific population group. I'm going to touch on it, and we're going to revisit it. The researcher said 85% of the population are uncivilized people, lacking the knowledge of themselves, don't know the origin in this world, poison animal eaters, easy to lead in the wrong way, hard to lead in the right. Boy, that's damn near everybody, including me. Easy to lead in the wrong way. If I send out a text and say, let's get together and pool our resources and funds to get a bus ride to Atlanta for the Saints Falcons game. If I say, let's start planning and pooling our resources so we can have the money to go to Zulu Bowl. If I say, fellas, let's get together, pool our money and resources, and go to the strip club. I've been there. Still trying to clean my house up. 85% of the population. If we say in 1930, eat one meal a day between 4 and 6. If we say stay away from certain foods, 85%. If we say strong families is strong community, if we say respect, honor, and protect your woman, if we say connect, network with like-minded individuals, and go into business together. 85% of the population. So we have to really, we have to really analyze that. The 85%. Demographic A, demographic B. We notice 100 participants. Demographic B engage into the podcast and the walk and talk. Asking questions, saying, giving their testimonials, and that's demographic B. Demographic A, nothing. So we had to send demographic a memo saying, hey, we noticed the statistics show that you haven't clicked on no links we sent. So we're not asking you to get out your house and go drive to a location and pull money out your pocket. I know that's a whole nother type of situation, but we can do it as the 85% has been characterized. Easy to lead in the wrong way, hard to lead in the right. I had a brother to tell me, I don't know, it's 24 minutes. So I got a story that I want to share with you guys. Some of you guys know this. I used to run a bounce house in New Orleans. 30,000 square foot bounce house in New Orleans. And I can go deep into it, but I'm going to touch on it. I'm a sales and marketer. And we was right there to trying to go to the next level. I made a suggestion, to market to this particular demographic, but the owners was like, oh no. It's like, no, we have to, we the only, I was cheerleading it for weeks, till they finally said, okay, well, let's test it. I knew automatically, I'm thinking, I could go to my friends. I know they could give me referrals. I know we could, nothing. They had people I knew that would go to Rouse's on Holiday and DeGaulle, look at our building and don't even come say hi. These people that I personally know. So now I got to go back to the owners and be like, like with a dog with his tail and so that's why 2023, like that text we sent, don't think that we don't have experience in demographic A. So don't think that we're expecting you counting on demographic A to sustain what the movement is. No, ma'am. No, sir. No. And it is what it is. I must say it. A wise man once said, you make your neighborhood, your community, your family a decent and safe place to live. Can we do that? I'm talking about all the way across the country. Are we doing that? So all of these groups, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that. Man, you need to go read some Jesus today. I would keep saying this and I'm going to keep saying this. It's very key. It's science in it. It's math in it. Jesus said, you can tell a tree by the fruit it bears. So when you approach us with a title we need to see the fruit. I mean, we're living in a world right now where all these organizations, and I moved back to New Orleans, man, and we the number one murder capital in the world. You know how many churches, and I need to share this with you guys. I was at UNO. I did a research when I was a student at UNO. And, you know, my research was I had to understand why people who claim this and claim that wasn't really being effectively practicing where you could see results. I did a research paper. And I got the number of churches and synagogues and everything in the city. It's thousands, literally on every corner. In demographic A, you can have a really, really nice church on outside of the church is what? You got vans, you got this, you got that, but you can't make an impact in the community. Come on, man. I mean, this is 2023. So we have to do better. So this is going to be a series. We're going to touch on it, you know, maybe 3 broadcasts, 1 walk and talk, 1 on the podcast. But I mean, it must be said. And once I get it off my mind and heart, I'm moving on. Because we at Synergy 365, we at the Mental Health Ministries, man, we are about the totality of humanity. We all in this thing together. It's 29 minutes, so I'm going to need to wrap it up. But just to let you guys know, 100 participants, we gauge we gauge the response rate. Demographic A, 0.5. Demographic B, maybe like 30%, 30, 40%. And if you guys can close your eyes, you can already know what we're talking about. So, this is your brother, Ben J. Willard. We still taking pre-enrollments for the second line aerobics class. As it appears now, we're going to be at the Propeller Group Share Office on Washington. I think it's 4035 Washington, Saturday, slated for the 22nd at 10 o'clock. We're going to be doing free classes for the next 90 days. So we're going to take the data from the free classes and we're going to present to the world the first ever of its kind that's presenting to the world our culture. The goal is to present to the world and show them that we can take New Orleans, which is the fattest city in the country, to the fittest city. Any of you guys interested? Pre-enrolling, inboxes, Facebook, inboxes, Instagram, inboxes, LinkedIn. You know, we could take your name, number, or email, and you can pre-enroll. So we're looking for at least 25-ish. Don't want to go over 30, 25 at the minimum. So this is your brother, Ben Willard, with another walk and talk fasted cardio session on a Sunday. I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your day. It is, your place of worship day. You know, keep your higher power in the forefront of your mind today. Give thanks, gratitude, fellowship with your brothers and sisters. This is your brother, Ben Willard, signing off. Peace out.